I received a comment in one of my videos that I think it was just actually on my last video about how somebody had said, I thought most people with schizophrenia actually did not have good memories, and I thought, oh, that's probably a misconception, and it turns out, it is the case. Most people cannot remember, like, the way I can, and it is both a gift and a curse. Like, of course, I remember all kind of traumatic memories, and it's very difficult to let things go. But I do remember, being back in 2001 when I had my first actual psychosis. I remember my childhood actually really well, and how I am pretty much a textbook case of somebody who would develop schizophrenia. But I'd like to talk about just events that led up to my first psychosis in February 9th, 2001. So I was under immense stress. Like, I was the bullied kid in school. Everybody made fun of me. I'd wear like hand-me-downs for my brother because had no interest in clothes. So I'd be called homeless. I'd be beaten up in the hallways for being a New York Rangers fan. My locker would get broken into. People would just damage my homework, and that was the other thing. I was also a very poor student, and I attribute the fact that I did have a lot of issues with accepting myself and just accepting everything that was going around me. I did have a lot of trouble actually understanding this schoolwork. I do remember it was very difficult. So one thing that would happen is, as soon as I went home, I'd go for a nap. Sometimes when I'd wake up from the nap, I would actually be in a state of panic because of just how life was, and my mind would just race. Like, my mind's naturally very hyperactive, but I mean, this would be even worse than ever before. So my mind would just be at top speed. I would just be worrying. This would last for about 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden I'd feel very euphoric, and I'd think, what was I worrying about? This kept happening, and then gradually I started having trouble. It was as though my tongue was made out of like lead. I was having trouble talking. Like, it was very difficult to talk. I would stutter when I spoke, and I still stutter, but that's mainly because, as I said, my mind moves very fast, and I struggle to find the words. So yeah, I'd stutter a lot more than normally, and just yeah, it was very difficult to form any kind of thought. Like, I do struggle sometimes right now, but I mean, yeah, it was very difficult to actually form my thoughts. But somehow, I was kind of oblivious to, that how different I was in some ways too. Like, I mean, even though I was aware that I was stuttering, I was aware that it was difficult to talk, but I was kind of unaware that what people's perception of me was. Generally speaking, I really care what other people think. I have that issue where I need to seek validation, and unfortunately that has never left me, and I hope it does someday. Like, I hope one day with enough therapy I can forget about that. All the same, what happened? One thing, I would actually have very lucid dreams. Like, I do often lucid dream. That is a characteristic of schizophrenia, where you can lucid dream and remember your dreams and even control them. But I would dream of things, and it was as though they were very prophetic. I actually believed my dreams were actually happening. I believed my dreams were telling me the truth. They were leading me to a clue. And I started to actually feel like as though I was actually kind of like in the Truman Show. Like, my life was being videotaped, and everybody could see it. Everybody could see everything. And I'll get into like the actual psychosis, and then after the psychosis in a future video.